fans, viewers, and listeners. Welcome to another exciting episode of Fight Inside Podcast. I'm your co-host for today, Raine Cruz, also known as Ringside Raine, ring announcer for Up Next Fighting. Before we get into our episode today, please take a moment to follow and subscribe to Fight Inside Podcast. Today, we will talk with a man doing what you've all been wanting for him to do and demanded as well. We will decide if Ngannou versus Fury is fake and break down a bout of tweets between a UFC fighter and a news outlet regarding ticket prices. So, what are we waiting for? Tim, hit it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Inside Podcast.
Right, our guest today is a legend in MMA who needs absolutely no introduction. He is a 22-fight veteran of the UFC, 3 BKFC fights to his name. He was introduced to the world as a contestant on Tough Season 1. He is now leading the way for pro fighters to become officials themselves and recently made his pro referee debut at UNF with good old Ringside Raine. And as a judge for the UFC just a mere 2 weeks ago, it is literally a dream come true, Raine. I used to beat up my friend and pretend I was this man at work during lunch. To have him on the podcast today, Raine.
Please welcome Chris, the Crippler Leben.
What up, guys? Thank you for having me.
Chris, this is crazy, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Chris, I cannot believe that you are here. I couldn't believe when I saw you at UNF alongside Ringside Raine as a ref. Like small world, man. How was UNF and how's the reffing been going?
Good. California has me booked for a few more shows. You know, that was my first one pro. I've been doing amateur for probably, 5 years or so. So, definitely paid my dues. And I think that's important. I mean, it is a different hat. I did fight, but reffing is very different. So, got a lot of reps in, finally doing some pro stuff here in California. And, I love reffing, judging. It keeps, now that I'm retired, it keeps me part of the sport. I get to hang out. I get to see everybody, see all the familiar faces. So besides the fact that I take the job very seriously, and I want to do the best for these upcoming fighters, I absolutely love it. I can't imagine anything I'd rather do more.
It's incredible, Chris. And we'll get to it because I've got some tough questions to ask you about it. As you know, this is like a hot topic, of course, on our podcast and everywhere around the world online. It's crazy. But before we get started, we're going to play a little bit of a game with you just to warm you up here. All right.
Okay.
Before I get to that, though, like I was saying in the intro, dude, back in Tough one time, my buddy and I, Dave, we were working office jobs. At lunchtime, we took T-shirts and we were drawing logos on them to look like Chris Leben and stuff like that. We would write Condom Depot on our shirts. We would wear it and we would go into the lunchroom and we would fight one another, and my buddy would pretend he was Iceman Chuck Liddell, and we'd pretend we were Chris Leben, the Crippler. Dude, you are an absolute legend, man. You don't know how many people you inspired, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah. My workplace is not happy that we probably broke a few tables and chairs, though.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna play a little bit of a game with you, Chris. Ringside Raine. These are all questions that deal with judges. So, Chris, the word judge, I think, is in every answer. So this is what you got to think about. Raine.
All right, ready? Here you go. Question number 1. In this movie, Sylvester Stallone played a badass police officer in the future based on a comic of the same name.
Judge Dredd.
God dang, Chris. I thought this was going to be the hardest one. Judge Dredd. There you go, Chris. That you should show up as a judge dressed in that. All right, Raine. Question 2.
All right, number 2. This TV judge says funny things in a cranky tone, like, I'm the boss, applesauce.
Judge Judy.
Judge Judy. Chris, killing it. 2 for 2. These are very easy, maybe too easy for the Crippler. Raine,
Might
number 3.
be. Okay, let's try number 3. This English judge of talent has been known to be pretty mean to lousy singers.
Oh, what's his name? Simon something. I don't watch the show, but I know who you're talking about.
It's Simon Cowell. We'll give it to you, Chris.
Yeah.
Simon Cowell. There you go. All right, pay close attention. This one is a hard one.
This one's really hard, though.
Yeah.
This red-haired Tough One veteran, UFC legend, and bare-knuckle maniac is now doing what the public wants and has become an official himself.
Chris Leben.
Judge Chris Leben. There it is. Chris, you're the first man to get all 4 right. 4 for 4 on the game show. Very well done.
Nice.
All right. Now, first off, I also do want to say, Chris, you are one of the major reasons why the UFC is where it is today. People always talk and we see documentaries and they go, it was that fight between Bonner and Griffin. And they say that was the fight that brought it all together. But in truth, Chris, you were as much a part of the UFC becoming where it is today now, with your style, with your look, with what you accomplished in the UFC, and with all the drama you brought to that show at Tough One. Dude, I was watching back clips of it. That show, Raine, is not even in widescreen. That's how long ago that show was.
It's an SD format.
Make you feel old, Chris. But what do you feel about that, my friend? I mean, you really are one of the pioneers of why the UFC is where it is now.
It's crazy. I think obviously going into the show, none of us knew. I don't think Dana knew. I don't think the producers knew. I don't think anybody cast to be on the show had any idea of how big that was going to be. And even they were hoping, we didn't know at the time, they were hoping beyond hope it saved the UFC. But as you guys know, it did a lot more than save the UFC. It propelled the UFC into every home across America and the world, and started to make fighters, household names where regular people knew UFC fighters' names. So it was incredible for me. I think I was 22 years old, and I remember telling Dana, I remember Dan telling the story, I was like, maybe I'll get a free beer out of this when I get back to Portland, And the truth was I couldn't go to the mall anymore. I get stopped every 20 feet going to the shopping mall. We had no idea it was, gonna catapult the UFC and the athletes the way that it did.
And Chris, think about this too. Raine, this is in a time when there was no social media. We weren't Instagramming this. We were literally picking up the phone, which is a thing, Raine, that we used to have. It had wires and whatnot. And we would call people and say, are you watching this on Spike TV? Spike TV was a channel that aired back before, Raine. That's gone now too. But, it's crazy. Chris, that's how crazy that is when people would recognize you like that. Think about what that means to today's world. That just does not happen without the power of social media, right?
Yeah. They actually had to have watched the show. They didn't see a little clip and then, so absolutely.
Yeah. It's incredible, Chris. I love that you said that, becoming an official has been able to allow you to stay within the sport, be around the people, be around the competitors. What has surprised you the most so far about becoming an official? Anything?
How hard it is. Particularly, with reffing, I was like, I've cornered 1,000 fights. I've fought in over 50 fights. It should be very, very easy, but it's a different stress. It's a different anxiety, and the same goes for judging, it's a different stress. It's a different anxiety, because once the fight starts, you don't really have time to worry anymore. You're just you're reacting. You can be nervous up to the fight, but particularly with judging, because to some extent it can be slightly subjective. How effective was that elbow versus that takedown and triangle attempt? these questions, that we're asking ourselves when we put the pen to the paper, because I want to be right. I want to give, when I'm reffing, I want to give every fighter every chance possible, but keep them safe. I want them to win or lose on their own. I don't want anybody to see me when I'm reffing until I need to be seen. That's my philosophy, and as a judge, it's red corner, blue corner for me. I rarely even use the fighters' names when I'm scoring or talking about the score. And part of that is because I just want it to be red corner, blue corner, so that my and who's on top at the buzzer, that's who gets the 10 and the other one gets a 9 or less, That being said, it's not that simple.
No, Chris, there has been so much drama of late, right? With judging and reffing, and reffing all the time, but judging recently. What do you think? I debated this with your fellow BKFC fighter. I had Britton Hart on a couple weeks ago, and we were debating because Alan Jobin was saying that really only ex-professional fighters should be officials. Like, as this sport grows and we've got more and more pros in the back, you know what I mean? What do you think about that? I mean, you are the professional fighter doing it. Well, do you think that you have that added advantage, and do you think that that's how we should go?
I'll tell you what I'll say. There's some great judges and referees that weren't fighters.
Yep.
And many years ago we didn't have the opportunity to get seasoned veterans to be refs and judges. I think when you're bringing people in, I think, it's just like, you want to hire the Army vet, on your application. Are you a military vet? I think some of these jobs, not just from a functionality point, like they can do it better because they were a fighter. Like, I don't think that you have to have been a great fighter to be a judge or a referee. I don't think that that's the case. But what I do mean is let's save some of these jobs for some of these guys so they have something to move on to. Much like commentary, these guys that were great and stuff, a lot of times after they retire, they want to continue, like me, to be part of the sport that gave them everything in their lives, that they want to continue to be involved, so why shouldn't these guys have, if they meet the qualifications, obviously, an option to do that?
Yeah. Chris, that's exactly well said, my friend. And, at UNF, again, where you were and where Raine is, that's why I was so happy when Ashley Evans Smith, UFC fighter, is a commentator there. Because when she was injured, and she's great, like she has her podcast. Have you been on her podcast, Sex and Violence?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, shoot. Okay, well, yeah. Everybody go listen to that. I'm sure that was good. But, she's very good. She's very well-spoken. She was a guest on our show back when we just started, and she's incredible. So for her to be a commentator, yeah, I love that. I think they add that added extra unique perspective. And if they're good at it, if they have the chops, I agree, Chris. It's something that fighters can transition into and look into.
There you go.
Yeah. What about those people? Maybe not us, but what about those people that think there could be a little bit more bias? That a little bit more bias could be prevalent due to being a training partner, same gym, same management team, etc.
Well, I would say this. Listen, if you're expected to be an expert at the sport, and if you're a judge or referee, you better be an expert. Then you're going to have some biases. I mean, it's a fact. It's a small world. If you know MMA better than almost anybody, and how every submission is applied, when you're a referee, so you know how to keep these guys safe if somebody doesn't want to let go of a submission, or you're a judge, you know every rule and how to score it. Guess what? You're probably going to know a few fighters.
Right.
I put it this way. I don't know anybody that doesn't, so there's obviously safety measures that need to be put in place. Like, as far as judging goes, multiple times, I've disclosed it and been asked to be taken off a fight, like, hey, this, year or two ago, me and this guy, we trained at the same gym. we're not buddies or anything. We're acquaintances. We know each other. We're okay with each other. And I'll always ask to be taken off that fight, and I'll tell you why. Not because I think that I'm biased and I'm going to score it wrong, but I don't want to give anybody anything to work with, if that makes sense. Because the bottom line is, in our sport, there's a winner and there's a loser. And a lot of the time, the person that lost does not believe that it was their fault, or they refuse to admit that they're the ones that lost that fight. It was either their coach, or it was the judge, or the referee stopped it too early. If you guys have been part of the sport, the list goes on and on.
Yeah. Chris, I love what you just said. We had Joe Daddy Stevenson, fellow tough guy. We had Joe Daddy Stevenson on the show maybe a year ago because he was in the news for just graduating the Herb Dean officiating course. And I asked him the same question about how would you disclose conflict of interest and stuff like what you just said. He said he draws the line to say, if I've ever cornered the guy, then I will not officiate his thing. But he goes, if I was in his gym or I knew him, or I trained him, he goes, that's okay, because I'm a professional and you have to assume that I will do my job as I should. But I like what you said, because you're like, well, no matter whether I do my job the way I do, people could still say shit.
Mm-hmm.
People can still say shit. And here's the other thing. I'm always going to disclose it because it doesn't hurt to disclose it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it falls on people above me.
Right. So when Raine Cruz starts to fight people, because her, you're not going to officiate a Raine Cruz fight.
I don't know. I mean, I know who she is. I've done a podcast with her. I wouldn't say that we've done rounds or that I've trained her in my gym or trained with her.
Okay.
I think that would be a far stretch, right?
Okay. All right.
You'd be like, well, listen, Herb Dean knows every fighter, right? He goes to UFC, he walks by, he shakes his hand, he shakes the corner's hand. Well, you shook their hand, so now you can't officiate their fight because you were cordial when
right.
We do obviously have to draw a line in the sand somewhere.
Yeah, he'd run out of fights to officiate
for sure.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Chris, because judging and stuff like that is so prevalent in the news right now, and it's been crazy. Is there anything that you wanted to say about it? Did you have any strange or off thoughts that you thought you should tell us?
I don't. And obviously, with what you guys are talking about, the guy's a great judge, phenomenal, friend of mine.
Judge Mike. Are you talking about Judge Mike Bell?
Yeah, mentor of mine.
Yeah,
phenomenal guy. Listen, he had an off round. It's as simple as that. And I know it's a tough pill for some people to swallow. But I think you drive a car long enough, you're going to get in a wreck, right? Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, we wear our seatbelt, right? We drive the speed limit, right? And really, we know eventually we're going to get in a freaking wreck, right?
Yeah.
But what we do is we minimize it, And when you're talking about a guy that's literally officiated thousands of rounds, and I mean that, like he's officiated thousands of rounds,
mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of people don't take that into context.
No,
they don't take how many rounds that guy has nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, not only that, but I had him on the podcast a long time ago. I actually consider him a friend. I will message him back and forth, and I do consider him a friend. I will say when I had him on the podcast, I researched into his past decisions because you can find that online on different websites. When there were weird calls, he was normally on the side of the media, like in terms of like the public opinion. He's very often quite the even Steven guy, like the guy that normally was.
He's incredible. His ability to recall a match too, and be like, "Well, that was actually about 2 minutes and 40 seconds in, is when that happened, Chris." So you know what I mean? I'm like, "Oh, my bad." You know what I mean? So he's incredible.
Yeah, he's a great dude, And I'm very glad to hear that you guys are friends and that he's a mentor to you, because that's awesome. He's a good man. Before I let you go, I know we're going to run short on time. I could talk to you forever, Chris. Very quickly, there's talks now about Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz Hall of Fame talk. And I wanted to ask your opinion, as I believe you are a future Hall of Famer, my friend. There's no doubt about it in my mind. What do you think about Hall of Fame requirements?
Yeah, listen, yes, right. I mean, we're half professional athlete, half entertainer. Okay, I mean, and it's not just it's what you did for the sport as well.
Okay.
In my opinion, listen, not having multiple world titles, I don't think disqualifies you from the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Being a name that nobody recognizes, I think disqualifies you more from the Hall of Fame. That's what it's called, the Hall of Fame. It's not called who was the best. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
so in my opinion, it's what have you done for the sport? How big of a splash did you make? And when you want to talk about making a splash and having a fan base, those two guys, unparalleled. How they could not be in the Hall of Fame, I wouldn't understand. I couldn't comprehend.
Very nice. Chris, let me put you on the spot. Do you feel you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I asked Bing the other day. I asked AI, and it gave me. I know, terrible, right? I'm calling myself out. I'm calling if I was ever going to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I think it's 50-50. And I think it comes down to the question that you asked me. It depends how the powers that be choose to view what the Hall of Fame is, what it is to them. Right. And I think if it's what you've done for the sport, Tough One, I think almost everybody from Tough One should be in the Hall of Fame, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah. But some more than others, Chris. Come on. Dude, I'm gonna say what you won't say. Chris Leben goddamn deserves to be in the fucking Hall of Fame. Put this fucking man in there. You deserve in there, and when you're there, I'm gonna be so happy to see you in there. Because not only, like you're saying, it's about everything that you do, but what you are doing right now, and the reason why I have you on, which I'm so happy about, is that because you are leading this charge of saying, hey, I'm a ex-professional fighter, and now I am going down the officiating route. I am helping the younger generation. I'm utilizing my experience, knowledge, and success to now become an official that can be respected in the sport. And I think that alone deserves it, aside from everything else you've done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Raine, Chris, sorry, before I let Raine ask her last question and my last question, quickly, if we can talk about your gym, because I know that you have a gym, and I'm very interested to hear about that.
Yeah, I have a gym here in San Diego in Pacific Beach. Barrett Yoshida is my jiu-jitsu coach. He's a Hall of Famer he's the ADCC Hall of Famer. And, I run the striking side of things. I got some other great coaches, beautiful fight team. If you're on vacation in San Diego or if you live local, hit me up on social media, come in, let's train.
That's awesome, dude. And what is the Instagram handle for the gym? I've got yours down below for those on audio only. It's at Chris Leben MMA, but your gym?
The training center.
The training
center. Yep. So the website is thetrainingcentersd.com. And I believe it's the same for the Instagram.
Okay, we'll find it. And I'll put it in the show notes as well. So wherever you're listening or watching, I'll put it in the show notes so you can follow. Please follow Chris and the training center. Raine, any last questions for Chris before I ask my famous last question?
Yeah. So, I'm very curious because, you mentioned earlier, and I think I really, really liked when you said about finding something for professional fighters to do once they're done fighting, right? And I think you've done something really great with like being a ref, a judge. Now, you also mentioned, some fighters, they transition into being commentators. Now, I'm curious, is that something that you'd want to explore down the line, or would you ever think of like doing, being a promoter, or maybe doing some backstage work, like for, MMA productions?
No, and I'll tell you why. I can't be biased. number one, I'm a referee and a judge. You know, for me, that is
Oh,
my
okay.
career path, and I want to do it for many years to come. Right. So for me to get out there and sound like I'm rooting for one guy or another guy, I think is unacceptable. Now, obviously, personally, when I'm watching fights at home, there's certain styles that I prefer more than other styles. You know, when I'm watching purely as a spectator, you know, and I certainly wouldn't want any of that to come through, you know, and people
Right.
to think I see a fight a certain way because I'm viewing it as a spectator and not as a professional, you know, analyzing it to score it, which is very different.
Yeah. Great answer, Chris. And after you go, I'm going to talk. I did my debut as a commentator for Fight League Atlantic in Nova Scotia this past weekend, and I'll tell you that was one of the hardest things. There was a guy that we had on the podcast last week, and when he was fighting and when I was watching him, it was very hard for me not to say anything. You know what I mean? Like very, very hard, man.
Yeah.
But you know, you got to. Chris, I'm going to ask you one last question. It's a question that my mother used to ask me almost every day growing up, and I'm going to ask it to you. So the Crippler, Mr. Chris Leben, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
I'd say I'm an 8.5 and climbing. You know, for me, it's the, you know, slow and steady wins the race. You know, so as of recently, I've had some big things happen, but they're not recent at all. They've been years in the making. They've been years in plugging away. You know, I'm one of those guys. I'm good at putting the blinders on and grinding when I have a goal. I don't get sidetracked easy. You know, and my view is the same with life. You know, not every day. I don't think that like joy and happiness are necessarily the same thing. So what I mean by that is I got a 12-hour day today, right? Today's a grind. It's not a Saturday, you know. So I don't know how stoked I am today, but I'm very rewarded with everything that I'm doing and everything that I have going on. And for me, that's more important.
Yeah, that's awesome, Chris. It is crazy. I mean, can you imagine tough one Chris Leben looking at you now?
Yeah, you know, somebody asked me just before I got on with you guys, one of my Instagram questions, somebody DM'd me, hey, what would you tell Chris Leben from Tough One or something? And I'm like, doesn't matter. He wouldn't listen, you know?
What would he have called this Chris Leben?
A lot of things.
But Chris,
yeah, my filter's kicking in right now, so.
No worries. Chris, thank you so much for joining the podcast, Chris. This is an absolute honor and pleasure. You are the man. You are a future Hall of Famer. I wish you all the best and success in life with your training center, with your officiating. You are absolutely the man, my friend. And I hope to have you back on one day again.
All right. Thank you, guys. You guys have a good one. All right.
Take care. Bye-bye. See ya. There he is, Chris the Crippler Leben, one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. He is a Hall of Famer in my book, no doubt about it. Not even a question, Raine.
That's awesome. I'm glad we got to talk to him today.
Raine, I was giving it a 50-50. Like, you never know. And
people get busy
or forget or something like that. But I really greatly appreciate it. We did get lots of fan questions come in, and I apologize just with the shortness of time and with the questions we were asking. I think we kind of got to a lot of the fan questions. They were around the officiating and stuff like that. His answer on the Hall of Fame, though, I really like that. In terms of that, it's called the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Greatness, right? Like,
who's the best?
Yeah, fame. Fame is in the word, and shit. I guess I got to think about that now, because really, there, a lot of Instagram posts right now. We're talking about Nick and Nate Diaz and whether they belong in the Hall of Fame, and really, my offhanded answer was no, because I was like, well, what is the criteria here? Are we just going based on Instagram followers? But I guess the Instagram followers in a way, but it's about, I guess, what you do, right? Like,
yeah. Well, the thing is, like Instagram followers, in a sense, I mean, there's an aspect of it wherein people follow you because they know you, right? They like what you do, they support what you do, or they care about what you do, whatever. But there's also an aspect of Instagram wherein you buy your followers.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get some schlub UFC fighter who's just gonna purchase 10 billion followers. Hall of Fame. It has to be a mix, I guess.
Yeah,
and I like what he said too. Like if you're just a guy that won a title but never really was that big in the sport, never did so much, then just because you have a championship doesn't mean you get in the Hall of Fame.
True.
It's got to be some sort of magical combination of the two.
I think it's how you made an impact, right?
Yeah.
Because one thing to kind of, do your thing, right? Be a champion, whatever. But what did you do with it that would make people really remember you? Because there's a lot of champions in the world.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Every month there's a new one. And if your Hall of Fame was only champions, well, then what's the point? You might as well have the Hall of Fame scenario. You might as well have the Hall of Fame induction the minute they get their title.
Yeah.
And new and Hall of Fame. Just do it at the same time. Save us all the hassle. Raine, that was incredible to have Chris Leben on. He looks good. Good. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, for all the stuff that he's gone through and his life and stuff like that, to see him and he's looking good and, and how serious he's taking the officiating.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I did not know that he was this, he's like, no, this is my life and I'm doing this.
And he's very well-spoken. That's why I asked him if he'd look into being a commentator, but it totally made sense why he does not want to go that route. He wants to be a referee. He wants to be a judge. That's going to be his career path. Yeah.
Not going to lie. I was a little bit mad that you did that. That's what I'm trying to do. And you're trying to take my job away from me, Raine. I should have asked him, hey, do you want to be an announcer? You can take Raine's job. No. So, all right, guys, if you are here because of Chris Leben, obviously, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you coming. Please stick with us. We're going to talk about some cool topics now. We've got great guests every week. So go look at our backlog. This is episode 139. So you've got 138 other episodes if you've never seen us before. Please do check them out. And friends of the podcast update, Raine, I will get straight to that. Friends of the next week. Hold on. Let me do friends of the podcast update. RageWorks Podcast Network. Go to rageworksnetwork.com to find other great audio podcasts such as ours. Mr. Ben Leese. He was on the podcast last week. He fought this weekend. Raine, I met him for I never meet our guests in real life. So it was crazy to me. He's a tall dude. He's really big. I didn't know. He's a big dude. I met him at weigh-ins. Anyways, I'll get to the story, but meet him at weigh-ins and he looked big. And then after the weigh-ins, when he bulked up, holy crap, I was like, whoa. I mean, he grew in size compared to the Friday after because he put the fluids in him and stuff. But I mean, he grew in size. And he gets a first round walk-off TKO. Raine, I was kind of in the back. Well, I was outside, but I was in the back, and I'm watching it, and I was sweating like crazy, I was dying. And he got hit in the first, and he ate it like a champ, and he got into some good clinch, and then he just crumples the dude.
Wow.
He turns. He makes the motion for money like this. He jumps on the cage. He cuts an amazing promo on the mic. This kid is money. Then after the fight, he's walking around the crowd. He's taking pictures with everyone. This kid is a star. And this kid needs to follow the right path, and he will be there. I met his lovely girlfriend. I believe her name is Ashley. I apologize if that's wrong, but I met Ashley. I met his mom, his friends. His whole team won. There were 3 of them on the card. They all won, all by knockout.
Wow, that's amazing.
He's with good people. I believe it's Evolution is his gym, but amazing. So very good. Congratulations to Mr. Ben Leese.
Ben.
Congratulations, Ben. Britton Hart. So after I commentated on Friday night, which I'll talk about, I ran home and I put on BKFC to watch Britton Hart defend her title. Slaughters the girl. I mean, that girl looked like a horror movie. She was just pummeled. And so Britton Hart and still BKFC champion. Congratulations to Britain. So happy. And then friends of the podcast update, I guess it's really to Derek Clark, the owner and co-founder and co-owner of Fight League Atlantic. There's the shirt there.
Woohoo!
Holy crap, Raine. Honestly, the most incredible weekend of my life, aside from my wedding.
I'm glad you said that. I was
Thank
about
you. I'm smart. Greatest weekend of my life. Incredible event. I'll take you through quickly. Do you mind?
Yeah, go for it.
I fly in. I wake up at 4 a.m. I fly into Nova Scotia. I show up there for the weigh-ins. And, I wanted to be able to see the fighters and see what's going on. And I love being able to see it. And then Derek comes over and goes, you going to host the weigh-ins? I was like, oh. And he goes, yeah, I want you to host the weigh-ins. So I went off and I hosted the weigh-ins. I got to call up all the fighters, announce their weight. I met the commission, the Nova Scotia Combat Sports Commission. Those guys were amazing. Met the fighters, was a part of that whole thing. Then that night, I was going to commentate. From what I knew, I was going to commentate about 4 or 5 fights for the event, right? Mm-hmm. Like it was a 16-man BJJ tournament, 4-women's tournament, and then an up-and-comer, like a future prospect fight, and then some super fights. So the whole week, I'm studying my 4 or 5 fights. I'm writing notes about the fighters. I'm writing down stuff. I'm making notes, watching their fights. I'm getting things to know about them. I knew that, Mr. Tyler Jennings may look different because last time he was here, he had flowy hair. Now he's got a buzz cut. Like everything I was writing, And so 5 o'clock comes and we're doing practice and warm up. And I'm there with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I believe she's a brown belt. I apologize. Christine Fader. She's from the Atlantics, and she was going to be the co-commentator with me for those 4 or 5 fights. And then I was going to leave and some other guy was going to come in. So we're doing the practice and Christine's amazing. And then we get to like the 6th or 7th fight and she goes, okay, so what about this one? I go, I think I'm not going to be here for those ones. Mm-hmm. And she goes, what do you mean? And I'm like, no, I'm only doing like 4 or 5 fights. And she's like, no, Tim, you're doing the whole thing. Derek, get over here. And calls Derek, and Derek's like, yeah, Tim, you're doing the whole thing. I'm like, what? So I start studying and writing things up. And then within a few hours, boom, we're live on pay-per-view, fightleagueatlantic.com. Raine, the event was magical. Like, I cannot tell you how incredible that was. I was not a huge BJJ fan from what I've watched before. Especially ONE FC, which I hate their BJJ. This event, fantastic. The matches were incredible. The contestants were like insane quality of BJJ. While the matches go on, there's this weird like drum music that they play. It's like doom, 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 doom. And so I'm hearing it in my thing. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, it's so cool. The event was amazing. If you got a chance to watch it, you would not have been upset at all. And if you did miss it, you should be punching yourself for missing it. It was crazy. Did the whole event. It was fantastic. I feel like it went really well. I do hope Derek and the Fight League Atlantic team are happy with the way that I performed. I can't wait to hear it back. I can't wait for them to post the matches so I can hear the commentary. Christine was like the greatest co-commentator. I could not thank her enough for what she did and leading me through it and stuff. But we had a great rapport. And then the next night I was doing interviews in the crowd during the MMA card. I interviewed some people, gave away some t-shirts, some FLA t-shirts, and amazing event. Fight League Atlantic. Raine, one day you got to come up and watch this.
Oh, hell yeah. I'd like to check it out.
Yeah, it was incredible. The event was beautiful. I can't thank Derek enough. It was fantastic. Like I can totally see how you get such a buzz being in front of the crowd and calling out those names and calling that out. There's nothing like a live event.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nope.
Last friends of the podcast update, I want to say I got something in the mail.
What is it?
So I am going to open this up. This is, okay, people always complain, Raine, about money for fighters and stuff like that, And they go, oh, fighters need to get paid more, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, do you ever support them? You idiots. Like, do you buy their t-shirts? First of all, do you even buy pay-per-views? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people just stream it. I'm like, you can't expect them to get paid unless you're helping them out. So Mr. Isaac Bulgarian, who we had on.
Oh, yes.
I bought his limited edition signed card.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to open it here live. I have not seen it before. I just ripped it open there. And it took no time to get to me. So I'm very excited. This will be a / unboxing video, right? And here we go. It's got my name on there. Timmy B.
Another box.
No. I guess this is so that it's kept in very good condition here. And hold on. This makes for good audio content, right? If you're listening on audio, come on over and watch it on video. But here we go. Mr. Isaac Bulgarian. Oh, it's in a nice little case here. That's beautiful. Okay, let me see if you can see that.
Oh, wow. That is really,
can you see that?
Nice. Yeah, I can see it.
It's shiny. It's got his signature there.
Is it laminated? Is that why?
And then hold on. And then on the back.
Oh, man.
That's terrible, but you can kind of see it. Wow. That is really cool.
Yeah.
So very, very, custom. Yeah. The Midwest Choppa. That is beautiful. Well, thank you, Isaac Bulgarian. I really appreciate that. Guys, go support your fighters. When they do things like this and they put up merch and stuff like that, go buy it. Go help these guys out, right? Like, you want to bitch and complain that UFC is not going to pay them more. Nothing's going to change. So the way that you're going to help them out is by purchasing their merchandise. When they have sponsors, go purchase stuff from their sponsors, right? Use their code and let them get their kudos and stuff like that, right? Yeah. So Isaac Bulgarian, I got it, my friend. Thank you so much, buddy.
Is he the one who has like a bunch of bees, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Does the card smell like honey? Hold on.
That's why when you said you got something from him, I was like, is it honey?
Did I buy his honey? No, I did not. But anyways, I got his card. So thank you very much, Isaac. Raine, okay, we got a few things to go through. Mr. Francis Ngannou is upset, and I'll put this up on the screen here. He tweeted, I don't know what's the minimum medical suspension in boxing, but I really don't understand how Tyson can fight in December after what's going to happen October 28th. So he's referencing that Ngannou versus Tyson is happening on October 28th. And already Tyson has booked a boxing match against Alexander Usyk. And apparently it's going to be in December or early January. Raine.
It's in December.
What's that?
I think it's in December.
Yeah. I think they're saying December or January. Like, I think it's not, there's not a specific date, but it's pretty much there. Okay, Raine, I say that it's because this fight is freaking fake.
I don't know. I don't think the fight is fake. I mean, is the fight about, getting as much money as they can? I'd like to say both fights are, basically the same in that case. I just think that maybe Tyson Fury is that confident that he will win his fight against Ngannou. That's why he's confident to book another fight in December or January. Because we're talking about him facing someone who has not been in a boxing ring, right?
Ever.
Not ever fought as a boxer. Is he a good fighter? Yeah, but is he a good boxer? We don't know until he faces Tyson Fury. So maybe Tyson Fury is like, you know what? Maybe he probably feels so confident that he's going to win this fight, and then he's going to move on to December or January to his next match.
And not take any damage.
I mean, maybe he believes in himself that much. But, the thing is, to me, money talks. So maybe there is a reason why Tyson Fury had to agree to this fight as soon as he can.
Right, to lock it in.
Yeah, to lock it in, make sure that, he gets to sign the deal, gets the money and all that. Because, if he's trying to weigh his options, right? Okay, well, if I'm going to get paid X amount of money to lock this fight in, what are the odds of me actually being able to make it? Well, I'm facing this guy who's never fought as a boxer before. Then, you know what? I'm better than him. More likely, I will beat him and I will make it into this next fight. I think that's the thought process. So I don't think that Ngannou versus Fury is fake. I think it's just about being confident, overconfident about yourself.
Even if you're okay, so let me ask, if you're that confident, does that mean you're then not going to train that hard? Because the other thing is, like, how can you possibly go into 2 consecutive fight camps? Like, your body's going to get worn out. You can't be going into hard training camp for one guy, and then like a few days after you fight Ngannou, you're back into training camp for Alexander Usyk, who is a killer and who is a legit boxer. Like, it wouldn't make sense that you're going to put your body through all that training, the emotional drain, the adrenaline dumps and all that, and then boom, get motivated to go right back in there and fight Usyk. Like, that's my problem. My problem is not so much the confidence factor, but how could you possibly then train enough to fight 2 men back to back?
Well, maybe he's looking at it in a sense of this fight against Ngannou is actually a part of his training for his fight in December.
Like, like a glorified sparring match.
Yeah, because it's like, if you think about it, these boxers, when they train, they need to, someone to spar with.
Yeah.
And this is going to be, like you said, a glorified sparring match. Wherein he's going to make tons of money from. So
yeah, I'm so back and forth on it. The only reason I think that it is real, or no, that would lead me to think it's real, is that he's thinking, shit, if I fight Ngannou and then I lose, maybe I won't get as good an offer to fight Usyk or whoever else. So let me lock in the dollar amount now. And then if I lose, you're already guaranteed to pay me. So if I lose to an MMA guy who's never boxed before or whatever, I know he's boxed a little bit, but who cares? If I lose to Ngannou, you've already locked in my pay, suckers.
Yeah. He signed a deal. So I like that theory.
So there's that too, right? Is that he's just being the smart businessman and doing that.
Yeah.
But if gun to my head, Raine, the fight is fake. I'm saying it's fake, and that's why he can sign with Usyk, because he knows him and Ngannou have a deal to say, hey, look, we're not going to kill each other, right? We're not going to blah, blah, blah. Like maybe it's real, but we're like, okay, you're not going to throw 100% to my face.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll, almost body spar or whatever. But that's what I'm saying. I think it's a little bit funny. All right. Next thing that we're going to do, Raine, and I didn't prep you for this because I want you to honestly, I want you to honestly, like, give me your feeling on this. And so I'm titling this The Media versus Jared Gordon. Now, Jared Gordon is a UFC fighter, and I'm going to take you through some tweets. And so those at home, I bet you guys have not seen this or watched this because it's kind of small. Jared Gordon's not the most popular guy or anything, but Jared Gordon, UFC fighter. Okay, so he posts this on his Twitter. So we'll read it out for people as well, Raine. But this is Jared Gordon. He posts a picture of UFC 295 ticket orders that he made. He ordered 5 tickets at $2,000, 7 tickets at $1,257, and 5 tickets at $607 for a total of $21,869. And he posts, these are the discounted tickets I got through UFC for my fight at Madison Square Garden for some family and friends. UFC has some loyal fans to be selling out an arena of close to 20,000 at prices higher than these. I love you all. These are discounted tickets.
Wow.
Raine, what do you think that this post means? And when you read it, what do you think the intent is of this post?
I'm surprised he didn't get free tickets because he's a fighter. But then again, I feel like fighters also have to sell tickets too. And, but I don't know how it works in the bigger leagues.
Yeah.
Like UFC.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is a big enough promotion that if like a fighter would say, hey, I'd like to take my mom and like 6 siblings with me to watch my fight, I feel like they could easily just say, oh yeah, here's a bunch of media passes for you guys.
So to be fair, I think he then later clarifies he does get 4 free tickets. These are additional tickets. But again, I think if you have a million tickets, he's Jared Gordon. He's not the main event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you think there's any negative connotation from this post?
It kind of a little bit, I think. I think it's mostly kind of implying that he had to pay for extra tickets.
Okay.
Right? Or not pay for extra tickets, but pay that much for extra tickets. But then if you think of it in if you try to look at it in a different perspective, it's the UFC, it's bigger fights. I mean, the ticket prices will be insane to begin with. That's a whole other topic, but yeah. Okay. So you're like, okay, maybe it shows that the price of the tickets are a little bit high. Maybe it shows that he's not getting free tickets. Potential for some negative reason here, right? Here's the media website, Bloody Elbow. Okay.
They share his post. They put a picture of him next to it, and they tweet out this. Jared Gordon paid nearly $22,000 for 17 tickets to the UFC 295. This is after his UFC fighter discount. There's the picture he shared showing the tickets and the ticket prices. And there's a picture of Jared. Raine, soak it in here. What do you feel about this post?
I think they're just rehashing what Jared Gordon had said, because he also mentioned that he got those tickets on a discounted rate. And I think they're just reposting what he said. I don't think there's anything.
Nothing?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think they're just reporting that this guy tweeted this information and they're just repeating it. Okay.
Raine, you are a very lovely person. This is your problem. What do you, let me bring your attention here, and maybe those at home, you're watching this. What do you think about the photo they chose of Mr. Jared Gordon?
Oh, the photo that
Now, for those on audio, he's crossing his arms. He is not wearing any UFC branded clothing. So I don't know what this photo is, but he's crossing his arms, and he's got like a smug, like kind of like a grimace on his face. Like he's like mad-ish.
I think the picture depicts that, hey, I got the money to pay for it.
Oh, okay. So you think the photo is like him flexing?
Yeah,
look how rich I am.
I got 22 G's to pay for my tickets.
Yeah. Okay.
Not a big deal.
Okay, Raine. Very interesting take there. Some may look at it and think he's mad about paying for these tickets at this price.
See, and that's the thing. That's the vibe that I was getting from the original tweet, right? Because he's emphasizing, first of all, why even post it?
Well, Raine, we could talk about this for like 5 hours. Because, you can go on a million tangents. You're right. Why are you posting this?
Yeah, and then
if not to be angry about it in some way, like, why are you doing that? Like, what is the reason? And giving the accounted, like the breakdown of the ticket.
Yeah. But like for me, I've posted, stuff wherein, hey, I got this thing on a discount because I'm flexing that I got this on a discount. But, I didn't pay $22,000 though. It's mostly like, hey,
but hold on. But what were you buying? Like, are you mean like, hey, I got a good deal on these Nike shoes?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but this is with his employer. So there's that weird. Okay, so Bloody Elbow posts that with that picture of him. Now, let me tell you, Raine, I am a nobody. And when I pick pictures to post about people, or Chris Leben is coming on, and I have to pick a picture of him for my promo videos, I'm very freaking particular about finding a good photo of him. If I have a girl fighter coming on, I am even more careful to pick a picture that I think that they are okay with. That's not going to make it look like I'm like it's like a sexy thing. Like, I don't want it to be too sexy, but definitely not a bad photo. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm very careful. Bloody Elbow chooses that photo very particularly, I think. And now you've raised a new debate. Is it that he's flexing that he's so rich, or that he's mad about the prices, or mad that he had to pay? I don't know, because now you've thrown that wrench into it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more of like a flex that he...
Okay, well, guess what? Jared did not take it as a flex.
Really?
Jared did not take the photo as a good thing. because then Jared, and now I'm going to put up 3 posts consecutive, but Jared puts them on blast a little bit. And so he writes, "What the fuck is this? I said I was grateful to the UFC for making this happen and the fans for supporting us. UFC gives us 4 free tickets, but I had more friends and family that wanted to come. Is Madison Square Garden supposed to give tickets away to everyone that wants to come? Journalists suck." And then Bloody Elbow replies, "The story is the prices. No one twisted your words or misrepresented you. No one said you were ungrateful. You shared it publicly. The prices are just high." And then Jared goes, "Okay, thanks for clarifying." Now, looking at this interaction, Raine, is everybody just good people, or is what do you think there?
I think everyone is just good people. I think honestly, to me, it's like, him posting that he had bought the tickets, he had paid that much.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, you got $22,000 to pay for extra tickets.
He's rich like Ben Lease, baby.
Yeah. And then, what's the website again? Bloody Elbow?
Bloody Elbow, yeah.
Okay. And then Bloody Elbow, like what I said earlier, it's like they literally just like posted.
Hey, we were just, yeah.
Whatever what was on his tweet. And I could understand why Jared Gordon reacted that way at first.
Mm-hmm.
But towards the end, he said, "Okay, thanks for clarifying." So I think he got what, Bloody Elbow was trying to kind of send on their tweet, which is, "Hey, we're just reporting what you said." Because they didn't add anything else. If you read the tweet from Bloody Elbow, they didn't add anything else from it, right?
Oh, the original post of it, you mean?
Original post,
they just okay.
Yeah. So to me, it's just like direct. Hey, this is what Jared Gordon had tweeted. I think the only thing that they added was the picture of him.
But a carefully selected photo, Raine. A carefully selected photo.
I mean, does he have?
It's not. Raine, it's not even a photo of him in a UFC shirt. Yeah. It's not a photo of him fighting. Like, frankly, if I looked at that photo and it wasn't connected to this post, I might not even know who that was. Like, you're not showing that that's Jared Gordon. Not that, again, apologies, but not that anybody knows necessarily who Jared Gordon is per se, if you ran into him at the mall. But you want see, Raine, you're too nice. You're too nice.
No, like in my head.
Are you being nice on purpose because you don't want to be a mean person?
No. Then to me, I'm just always like trying to kind of see every perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because for me, it could be a situation too where they're not allowed to use a photo of a certain type of photo of him, or that
it has to be a blah 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 stock photo or whatever, right?
Yeah,
like, you mean they can't use a yeah, but this is goddamn Bloody Elbow. They're an MMA website. They've got photos, right? I'm sure that they have licensing rights to, and blah blah. Again, you're trying to be too nice. Let me give you the Timmy B breakdown of how evil everybody, or how miserable everybody is. Okay, starts off with Jared Gordon posting this. I think there's no reason that he posts this if not to take a shot and say, why are these tickets so expensive? Why do I have to buy these for even this amount? I feel like he's doing something, but he's not saying it. He doesn't say thank you UFC or anything like that, which he then later says. He doesn't say that. He says these are the discounted tickets. First of all, he says discounted, not tickets. These are discounted tickets I got through UFC for my fight at Madison Square Gardens. UFC has some loyal fans to be selling at an arena of 20,000 people at this kind of price. I love you all. He's saying I love you to the fans, but he's taking a shot saying these goddamn ticket prices are so fucking expensive. And now I've got to buy all this. And even with my discount, this is what I'm paying. That's what I think Jared is saying.
Could it be that he's also, and I just thought of this right now, could it be that he posted that and he's saying those are his discounted tickets, right? Discounted rate for him as a UFC fighter. And then he realized, because towards the end, he said, I love you to the fans, right? That's what he said, right? I love you.
Yeah. I love you all. Yeah.
I love you all. Could it be that it's mostly him showing that this is what I had to pay on a discounted rate? So that means that the fans actually had to pay more. And he's basically
don't try and make me feel good about this.
No, I'm just saying.
So I think, okay, hold on. I think he's posting that because he's being a bit of he's given it a little bit. Okay. When Bloody Elbow posts this,
he reacted.
No. But I think Bloody Elbow is being assholes too. I think they damn well know what they're implying by putting that photo of Jared Gordon. He's not smiling. The tweet of Jared Gordon says, "I love you all." And he's buying tickets for his friends and family. Why wouldn't you put a picture of him with his wife or something? You choose a photo where he looks angry. I think Bloody Elbow, without having to even do anything to instigate the people, they put a photo there. You know what you're trying to say. So Bloody Elbow, give me a break. You knew what you're doing by choosing that photo. They guarantee. And then when Jared calls him out and says, "What the fuck is this? Blah, blah, blah." I think it's because, so what happens is then tons of tweets come out, right? And people are taking it badly. That's why Jared responds. So like people are like, "Yeah, fuck UFC. Why shouldn't they get more tickets?" And blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So that's why he then responds, because I think Jared then is like, "Oh, shoot. I just meant this to be like a little subliminal jab. Now this is getting too much media attention. I have to double back here and put up some defenses so I don't look like the jerk. And now I'm going to make it like, oh no, you idiots instigate this. That's not what I meant at all. Oh no. It's like, it's like sometimes if you get into a fight with your spouse or significant other and, you say the wrong thing and they go, "Oh, how'd you say that?" And you go, "Oh, I didn't mean that. I just meant
it that way."
I didn't mean it like that." Right. Like, right. I think that's what happens here. And then Bloody Elbow goes, "Oh, no. We weren't saying anything either." Bloody Elbow, you're a media outlet. You know what picture you're choosing. You know what that implies. There's quality control people. There's blah, 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 right? Like, I'm sure someone looked at that phone and go, smart.
But maybe they did it that way because that was the messaging that they got from the tweet.
Yes. Of course, yes. Whether they, I think they got it from the tweet and then they added flavored context to it. And then Jared's like, okay, no problem. But this is very weird. I feel like it's such an interesting story because it shows like, I really feel like Jared Gordon was trying to give some message to people. Mm-hmm. And then because Bloody Elbow then blew it up, they all had to kind of backtrack and pretend like everybody's cool. But let's not pretend. Jeez Louise. I don't know. I don't like it. And I just think for me, my stupid thing, I am very careful to pick photos. And to Jared Gordon's point, I'm very careful to say what I actually mean. You know how many times I retweet something or like I delete a tweet and then rewrite it because I'm like, it doesn't really sound right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're posting you spent $20,000, there's a million other ways you could have posted that if what you meant was to say like, "Hey, I'm a great guy." I still don't even understand, like, because you're like, "Oh yeah, he's flexing by showing it." I don't know. Why even do that?
What if he let's say, what if he tweeted it this way? I just spent $22,000 to buy tickets for my family to see UFC 295. I love you all. How would you take that?
Fine, I guess. Well, in that case, he's saying, "I love you" to the family and friends that I bought the tickets for. So yes, I guess that's okay too. But again, why post that? Like, I don't, I bought my wife, something.
Unless he's just like flexing that he spent that much money.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the last point, Raine, I want to say, if you're Jared Gordon's family, just buy your own tickets. Why are you making this fighter who's not rich? Why are you making him spend $22,000 on you guys? Buy your own tickets, man. Support the dude. Like, why are you?
I feel bad that he had to buy the tickets for his family and friends because it's like, he's trying to make a living by fighting or whatever amount he makes like from fighting, right? And then now he has to spend money to bring in people to support him in his fights. And it's like, oh, that kind of sucks because it's like basically what he made from fighting, he's going to lose it because he has to like pay for the tickets.
Yeah. He's won one in his last 4 fights. Mm. So he's not even like, again, no offense, but I don't know what his contract is, but he's only won 1 in his last 4 fights. And a lot of people think that means you're getting half your pay. So the guy's he's not loaded. I don't think so.
You know what I just realized?
Raine, it better be mean and angry and spiteful. That's all I want.
Oh my God. I just realized what if the tweet is actually kind of like, kind of in it's more of towards the people that he had to buy the tickets for, because he's just trying to please everyone, right? Trying to, maybe a lot of people have asked him, hey, do you have tickets? Do you have tickets? Hey, can you not get
my God.
for free? And then he's like, he probably felt bad. And he's like, you know what? Fine. I'll get you in, la, la, la. And, and then he probably felt bad to tell them, hey, I actually spent this much money for you, for your ticket. And so.
Raine, you're a genius.
Right?
You're a genius. He was doing it because he's like, hey, stupid second cousin that I never see. Look at all these tickets I bought for you idiots.
Yeah.
And then Bloody Elbow thinks it's him complaining about UFC. And that's why he gets mad, because he's like, you idiots. I was just trying to tell my second cousin Earl that he's a no good bum. And you guys make it look like I'm complaining about my goddamn employer. Raine, we've solved the case.
Oh, yep. That's it.
Solved the case of Jared Gordon versus Bloody Elbow.
Now let's just hope that these people that he bought tickets for actually follow him on Twitter. Because there's no point of him posting that if they don't follow him on Twitter.
No. They got it. Let's hope even more that second cousin Earl watches the Fight Insight podcast.
There you go.
And we can even more call out what a jerk you are, Earl. And that you don't deserve that free ticket, and give Jordan, what's his name? Jared Gordon. Give Jared Gordon his money, you idiot.
Yeah, buy your own ticket to see your second cousin fight.
Yeah, buy your own cousin, moron. Raine, that no better way to end a podcast than by calling random people idiots and morons. And telling them to stop being cheap. Raine, is there anything that you need to say before we get out of here? Is there anything coming up that we need to be aware? We want to see you again. We want to see you commentating. What's up?
Oh my God. Well, I can't wait to ring announce again. So I'll have to keep you guys updated on my next show. I just want to say thank you again to Chris Leben. Thank you for being here on Fight Inside Podcast. And congratulations to you, Timmy B, and to Ben Lees.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
The minute I see the post from Fight League Atlantic, I will share them with you, of course, personally. But I'll try to share them with people, because I really want honest feedback too. If I did suck, please tell me I sucked. Tell me where I could get better. Tell me what I could have done better. I did make one mistake, Raine. It was a 16-man tournament. But for a while in my brain, I thought it was an 8-man tournament. So when this one guy won his quarterfinal match, I was like, he's going to the finals. And then my co-commentator is like, no, he's going to the semis. I was like, whoops. But I think I might have done it for like 2 fights before I realized I was wrong. But anyways, yeah. That's fine, though. That was funny. Yeah, all right. So, okay, so no news yet for you, but hopefully something soon.
No news yet for me, but,
all right.
Hey, I just want to I just want to plug this real quick, by the way, because finally I got my very first request on Cameo. For those of you who know what Cameo, who don't know what Cameo is, it's like an app where you request, someone to do a video for you. And for me, obviously, my videos are announcing people, right? And I finally got my first request. So thank you to that person who requested that video. I'm on Cameo, guys. So there you go. That's something I can promote. I'm on Cameo. Find me, Raine Cruz, Ringside Raine, if you want your custom introduction or ring announcement. Let me know. Find me on Cameo.
Nice. And hey, you don't have to introduce them. You could say winner by knockout.
Yeah,
you could say
that, or
father of the year. Right? Like you could do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're having a baby boy.
The baby is, you are not the father.
I can do that. So find me on Cameo.
Excellent. You got to post more about that. I remember you posted one thing, but you got to promote that more, Raine. Like, let's get out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Congratulations to Raine. Thank you for everybody supporting. Like I said, go purchase things from fighters like Mr. Isaac Delgarian. Dude, this is so freaking cool. I can't believe how good this looks. Yeah. All right, guys, we're out of here. We're a little bit long today, but Raine, I was listening to some podcasts and I like the podcasts that are long. Like for me, like if a podcast is too short, I sometimes don't like it. So I hope people like this. I hope people listen to it. We didn't go too long, but yes, Chris Leben, holy cow, what a good dude. I think he had a good time, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he had a good time. So I think that was well. He's good. He's a cool dude. And everybody, thank you so much for watching. We will see you again next week. Have a good one. Bye, Raine. Thank you.